All right, I think so.
Now, everybody, come on now. Oh, yes. What you talking about now? Oh, baby.
Okay, we're working. We're here. Hi, there we are. Welcome to the show, everybody. Good morning. Sorry I'm late. There was a weird thing, and it's still going on. Let me just check one thing real quick with you guys, if I may. And I hate when people do this. Am I live right now? Can you see me? Am I present in your existence? Are you sure? Are you really sure? Are you really sure? Okay. I'm not Memorex. No, I'm wearing a totally different t-shirt today. That's not what happened. Yeah? Good. Okay, you can see me. Excellent. Well, then hit the like, and I'm glad to know that you can see me, because the software that I'm using to broadcast my show in the never-ending technical struggles that I do it's got a little button in the corner. And that little button says go live. And when you click it, it turns red and it says streaming. Right now, it's still green and says go live. I don't know why. I have no idea. It's very strange. And this is why you don't want AI running everything. Because at this point, the potential for mistakes, the little mistakes that are in some cases bizarre and all-encompassing, are fine and kind of okay when they're in, curious little digital kerfuffles or sort of Mercury and retrograde kind of experiences that we sometimes have, but once it gets to the point where like the robot can step on your oxygen hose, I think is the analogy that makes me concerned about our future at some point. Now, there is lots of news today. Hold on, let me jump in. And yes, I'm squinting because I was reading all morning, as I am wont to do in low light like an idiot. And then my eyes get all tired, and then by the afternoon, I'm fine. But let's see. Ooh, try again. There it is. Okay. Couple of things. One is, and I've got to. I'll find this little piece. That I wrote a little diatribe this morning, and I don't know if who saw it on Shitter, but let's see. Is the news is proper? No, of course it's not the right. Why would it be? Why would it be the right screen? Why would it do that? Why would it not just switch over to the wrong screen? It's so silly. Why don't you stay where I left you, you silly thing? So I'll fix that. Give me 1 second. I always love when it just gets weird on its own. There we go. Ha! Fixed it now. You crazy son of a dog doodle. All right, now I'll bring this over to there. Okay, now that looks better. And transition. There we go. So I wrote this little scribe, my little mini diatribe this morning, because I was sick and tired of all this border talk. And it occurred to me, I said this yesterday on the show, and as much as the major loves my statement about the fact that maggot Republicans care more about Vladimir Putin being able to expand his borders than they do about protecting our own, which I agree is a genius way of stating it. The other thing that I think slipped by and doesn't get nearly enough attention is, why do you need razor wire if the wall works? I don't get it. What if the wall is so fucking good and the wall did it? That's all you need to build that wall, baby. Why did the building of the wall make the border worse, which it did by every measure? And why do you need razor wire? What the fuck is the razor wire for? If the wall works, what's wrong with the wall? So I wrote this little diatribe, and if you follow me on the shitter machine, I'd appreciate a little boost on it if you feel like it, if you're so inclined, if you hang out in that dump anymore. But the point I was making was border wall construction created hundreds of miles of access road on the Mexico side of the border. This made previously difficult terrain that migrants would avoid into a wide lane you could roll a suitcase along. The road takes you right to the end of the wall, and the reservations are private land that have no security measures at all. You can now just walk around. This is Trump's legacy. Why does CNN, Jake Tapper, MSNBC, Lawrence, Fox News, Sean Hannity never bring this up? The wall made the border worse. And Title 42 removed penalties for multiple crossings, which created the cartel industry of drug and human trafficking at the border. It turned a sporadic system into an industry. Hashtag border crisis, hashtag border security, hashtag maggots. What I wrote there is indisputable. Okay? This is not my opinion. It is a material fact. Recidivism at the border is why the number of crossings is so high. It's not the number of people that are crossing, it's how many times they've been coming across. The entire industry of that was set up under Title 42. Since that point, they have figured out by using that as an experiment, sending people over and seeing who made it through and who got sent back, they were able to find weak points in border security and get through. And all the while, Republicans are dragging their fucking feet. Right? All the while, not allowing, a rush of technology to the border, specifically drones and infrared cameras and all the kind of stuff that's in the border bill, because they want fucking guns and more wall. They just want barrier. And again, if the barrier worked, why the fuck do you need razor wire? Why? Because of gaps in the wall? You didn't need it before. Why do you need, first of all, why do you need razor wire where the wall is? And why are people now crossing in an area where there's no wall, where there was previously a barrier, but it wasn't a giant wall? I'll tell you why. Because a giant construction project requires the leveling of land on both fucking sides of it. And anybody with any brains at all, or I don't know, experience in real estate would know that when you create a foundation for a wall and you don't want it to fucking tip over, you're going to need to dig out the land on either side of it, and you're going to need trucks, and you're going to need cement, and you're going to need crews, and you're going to need it on both sides of the fucking thing. And where before there's a little piece of wood and and they would say that's a wall. Do you remember Trump's always saying there was a little rotting piece of wood, and they would say that's a barrier? It's because the fucking on the Mexico side of it, it looked like this. Nobody went that way. That's why they didn't bother to reinforce it, because nobody was dumb enough to try and cross there. They would end up in the middle of nowhere. There was no, if they did get around it or over it, if they could manage to get up there, there still wasn't shit for miles. Now, because of the goddamn wall, there's a road on both sides. My dad's an architect. So I've done my fair share of both construction, and I don't know, many of you may not know this, but the reason I was able to go to New Trier High School, which is a very good high school in Chicago, is because my dad and I could not afford the neighborhood we were in at all. It was because my dad agreed to pay half rent in a guest house on Woodland Avenue, 329 and a half Woodland Avenue. That was my address in Chicago. Well, I lived in the half, motherfucker, like a goddamn elf. And the reason we got half rent was because my dad's an architect and he would remodel this place for them while we lived there. Well, guess who was his spot construction hand? My dad, God love him, designer at heart. Who do you think was the person standing on the dining room table holding a piece of drywall above my fucking head before school in the morning as my dad screwed in the corners? Oh. And therefore, and we had to stabilize one of the corners of the building because it was old and it was starting to sink. So we had to dig it out and buttress the foundation in one particular point. Anybody who lived in LA knows about, earthquake retrofitting. Drywall dust in the eye stings. You know it. Yeah. So I'm just saying. And my dad, like I said, my dad's an architect. I grew up around blueprints, and I'm here to tell you, if you rolled out a blueprint in front of Donald Trump on a table and had him explain to you what was going to be where, he would just nod and point. He wouldn't know fuck all about it. He may have forgotten what he might have been able to pretend he knew back in the day, but he sure as fuck doesn't know anything now. That's why he and his entire family talk about towels and curtain rods and fucking like end tables and laminate and shit like that. They don't do construction. They're the paint job. Right? This fucking bullshit about fucking Eric pouring cement. Like, dude, filling cracks with Quickcrete is not pouring cement, you tit. And that whole family is just about putting like a nouveau riche, gauche coating on every fucking thing that they get a licensing deal on. They don't build anything. You out of your fucking mind? So, one of the biggest frustrating parts of this is that people, when he was talking even about the wall and the size of it, and we watched part of it blow down, because the structure of the ground they built it under, let me tell you something. As much as we all laughed, and I included, at the wall falling over at one point, the reason it fell over was because it's basically just sand and dirt below it. There is no foundational granite to put this thing in. And you know what that means? You know how they had to fucking repair the wall? Right. They brought in big fucking backhoes and they dug the ground out and they poured a shit ton of concrete like 19 feet into the ground, and then they staked this motherfucker back into it. And you know what they had to do for that? Do you think they could do it all from the American side, just kind of push the concrete in? No. They had to do it on both sides, which means you need an access road that you can leave afterwards, by the way. You can't just fucking paint the trucks into Mexico and go, all right, well, you guys stay there now. Congratulations on being Mexican citizens. They got to have a road back, too. A gate they can pass through. Now, the Biden administration reinforced the gates because they were shit. The Trump didn't even have a plan to do it. They just left gaps to bring the gear back through and then just went, who's handling that? I don't fucking know. Ugh, my Lord, this is dumb. And I swear to God, one of the only reasons people don't ask these questions and don't talk about this shit in general is because of the illusion that Donald Trump knows fuck all about construction. Donald Trump doesn't even pay the contractors who do his projects, who are the ones that know about this shit, for reasons that he can't even explain. It took you too long. Yeah, it's because you were asking something that was impossible, and the fucker's got to stay up I'm not going to be building a house or a building that is going to collapse and kill everybody in it, you asshole. Good Lord. Also, blueprints are so-called because the lines are blue, not because the paper's blue, you silly. Other than that, I have no opinion. Just saying. Like, in general, hi chat room. Love you guys. Look at that. Oh my God. Yes, Hal Sparks, man about town. So I just like that part of it aggravates the shit out of me. And I gotta say, like, I feel like even some of the like marginally reasonable angry maggots that are just, you know, lining up to take a pull off of Trump's butthole, even those folks, like, if I just still feel like if I could sit them down and go, this is how construction works. Do you realize that one of the reasons why you're seeing all these people queuing on the Mexican side of the fucking wall at these places is because they are walking to an edge of the wall. They're walking to the end of it where it reaches native land or private land where the wall stops, and they're just lining up and waiting for Customs and Border Patrol to chase somebody so they can fucking go in on ground that is not owned by the federal government or that is sovereign Indian land and therefore has no wall on it. And they never were able to even reach that fucking area before because the terrain was too tough. You couldn't bring your whole fucking family and your luggage and all that kind of shit. Now you can just, it's like a fucking airport tarmac. You're just like walking across it like Steve Martin in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. They're bringing rolling bags. Have you ever seen the, Jesus Christ, have you ever seen the border where people are bringing rolling bags? No. Why is that? Because now there's someplace for it to roll. Fucking hell. All right. So we'll clip that, and we'll hopefully send that around. Because, good Lord, that part's just fucking amazing to me. It's just fucking crazy. So, anyways, chat room, you guys are adorable. Where'd my background go? Did it just disappear when I turn on? Is that what happened? Hold on. This guy right here. Okay. 224. Turn it off and back on. There it is. I don't know why it went away. That's very strange. My software is being very quirky today. It thinks it's off when it's on, or on when it's off, or something. It's very odd. We'll manage. Who cares? You guys are awesome. Run a background check. That's funny. Diagram 65. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I enjoyed that. I love that. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for throwing that out there. By the way, it's just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. You and I. No guests this morning, so it's just us, and then I fuck off to LA to do Flappers tonight, and right back, radio tomorrow. Boston Bryant's going to be in the first hour tomorrow, which is fucking fantastic. No show this afternoon unless I decide to do a late show order because I'm doing stand-up. And that will, by the way, be, I don't think their streaming setup is set up yet because I haven't been there to fix it for them because that's the kind of guy I am. So more than likely, they'll just give me the recording and I will post it, in the next couple days whenever they get it to me, so that I can, yeah, there you go. Now, all this talk about the fucking border is pushing this whole, like, Civil War Part 2 horse shit. We'll get to, by the way, Trump storming out of court. Sorry. That's just the idea. Maybe we just jump straight to it because holy shit. Okay, so the I don't even find the let's see. I have to find the fucking transcripts of this shit because it's so good. Okay, where I'll roll back. Oh, shit. All right. This is just good. Okay, let's just jump straight into this stuff because holy fuck. So today it's the final it's closing arguments in the case. Fuck. And Trump continues to hire the least effective and fucking dumbest people to represent him, just brutally. So this was my favorite one. Trump is walking out of the courtroom. Donald Trump has left the building. There you are. Welcome to the sweaty, fat Elvis period of the Donald Trump legacy. So this is okay. Robbie Kaplan. This trial is about getting him to stop once and for all. She adds that it's also about something more profound. It's about whether the rules that apply to everyone else, whether they also apply to Donald Trump. Trump walked out moments after Robbie Kaplan said this about the prior Carroll trial. Did he respect the jury verdict? No, not at all. Not even for 24 hours. And so he just got the fuck up and left. Just not even for 24 hours. Matter. And I swear to God, and I'm not Kaplan them, they're doing a great job. But if they'd have just thought for a moment, like as he's leaving, if I'd have been the plaintiff's lawyer in that situation, I'm going, I'd like to say for the record, I don't know if he's storming out of the court to just to leave or if he's going out to tweet something derogatory about my client. Withdrawn. Yeah. So then I don't know why these guys need to charge. These are getting gunky or something. And I want to be able to listen to some of the stuff because there's some clips that I want to play for you this morning. I know it's normally not this way, but okay. Judge Kaplan interrupts Robbie Kaplan's closing argument. Excuse me. The record will reflect that Donald Trump just rose and walked out of the courtroom. Trump is walking out of the courtroom. Yeah, there he goes. After Trump left, his legal advisor, Boris Epshteyn, got out of his seat. Judge Kaplan, defense counsel ought to remain seated, and that includes you, Mr. Epshteyn, even though you aren't part of the defense counsel. He's a defense advisor or whatever, I guess. Your client can storm out like a big, sweaty fucking baby. And you can't do shit about it. We're busy here. We're doing real work. If he wants to go look, I personally think his diaper was full. I don't think it had anything to do with what was being said. I think he had, one of those moments where the stress just got to him and he filled his pants with soup. That's what I think. I think it was just a, every way of phrasing this is making me feel awful. Like just the idea of this dude firing a beef stew cannon into his fucking seat in the courtroom, as angry as it is disgusting. Just blog. Fucking. And I'm not kidding. I here's the thing. I'm not really kidding. I'm pretty sure that past this prologue that he was just evacuate. Remember, you know what the scene that keeps coming to my mind is the scene in the opening of Joe versus the Volcano, where he works at the lube factory and they're filling these containers, and this one guy just has this big squirter machine that just goes into the jars, and it's totally disgusting. I'm sorry. Okay. But I don't think he was like, I will not submit myself to this any longer. I'm sure that was the indignant tone he was trying to put, but in reality, he was just fucking, I'm full. They should have a little measuring thing on his shirt that goes ding when his diaper starts to overflow and woot woot you know. And again, ask the folks that I guess that worked around him back in the day on The Apprentice. Apparently, Calamari and all these other dudes had to help him clean himself up. Oh, wow. Okay. Robbie Kaplan is pressing the point that Trump has continued his attacks on Carroll even through this trial. She describes a press conference he held last week. During the press conference, while you were sitting in this jury box, he told even more lies about Ms. Carroll. Tells her it will take an unusually high punitive damages award to have any hope of stopping Donald Trump, which is totally true. Like the idea that $5 million or $10 million is going to stop this dumb fuck from doing this. Like, the hilarity is, can you imagine if he gets hit? Because, hey, he's a billionaire. He's worth billions, fucking billions of dollars. It would take hundreds of millions of dollars to get this dipshit to stop fucking with people. Right? In theory. How many? All right. Let's say, let's just say, for sake of argument, chat room, if I may, and you're wonderful people, hi. Let's just say you, not me, of course, but you're a terrible person. And you're a multi-billionaire. And somebody would have to cost you enough money to make you stop talking shit about them in anger. What would the number be? I gotta say, if I was as awful as you clearly are, it would have to be in the double B's. You know what I'm saying? If I'm worth $9 billion and I'm doing this shit, it should cost the equivalent of what it would cost to stop a regular person from doing it. Like, the irony that Trump could effectively shrug this cost off, right? He really could. Trump fined $550 million. Was it 50? It was 5 the first time, and they were going for 10. I'm just saying, we're going to be right back here again. This dumb motherfucker doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. And if you don't believe me, hold on one second. We'll jump over to his Truth Social this morning. And I believe he posted another fucking video attacking her like last night at like 2 in the fucking morning. I'll just scroll down through this. And by the way, not just the videos, but this motherfucker's just yammering page 2, page 3, page 4. Like, oh, and by the way, his defense that her life has improved because people care about her now is fucking, like, is one of the stupidest fucking things as an argument you could ever make. I gotta say, because like that's like the failed insurrection aspect of it. Here it is. This is it. This dumb motherfucker. Here's the thing. Just because you tried and failed doesn't mean that they don't get damages for the damage you try to do. Plus, you got a big fucking bunch of lunatics, right? That in his circle that are right now clamoring for war with the rest of the United States. You think they're above hunting her down and doing something awful to her after she wins? You don't think she has to look over her fucking shoulder like Shay Moss and Ruby Freeman the rest of her fucking life because of these nutcases? What's the price tag on that? On living the rest of your life as an innocent person with having like one of these like psycho maggots, qu'est-ce que c'est, sneaking up on you and dusting you off in a fucking mall one day. Good Lord.
I don't even know who this woman is.
Okay, asshole. Just because you mistook her for your fucking wife doesn't... Sorry. That's so funny.
I don't even know who this woman is. I have no idea who she is, where she came from.
Okay, first of all, that's incriminating on its face. You were president of the United States. You were a public figure for decades, and obviously that's on a hard fade, but it peaked somewhere around, I don't know, 2005, something like that. Fine. You don't know who she is? Hey, asshole, if I was wrongfully accused by somebody of this shit, I would know everything about them. And I certainly wouldn't lead off with, I have no idea who this woman is. That's just dumb. Motherfucker, you've been through 2 trials about this. Of course you know who she is. You're in pictures with her.
This is another scam. It's a political witch hunt. And somehow we're going to have to fight this stuff. We cannot...
You are fighting it. You have your day in court like everybody else, and you lost. Suck it up, big boy.
Let our country go into this abyss. This is disgraceful.
Okay, first of all, our country is not going into this abyss. This is your fucking problem. Sorry, the audio is so low on his thing too. I don't get it. It's very weird. But yeah, what the fuck does this have to do with us as a country?
You have somebody running for office. You have a woman that's financed and lied about it. She totally lied about it by Democrat operatives, like just about the biggest one there is.
Okay, what?
You have a woman that's financed and lied about it. She totally lied about it by Democrat operatives, like just about the biggest one there is. And she said that wasn't true. They found that she lied about it, and the judge wasn't even, I guess, letting it be put in as evidence.
Who gives a fuck? You're guilty already, dumb fuck. Who cares who is bankrolling her ability to take you back to court? You lost, you prick. Good Lord. You fucking lost. Take the L and shut the fuck up. If this motherfucker had just said, had just settled this shit out of court, or gone to court, gone through the first trial, paid it off, and just shut the fuck up, this would be water under the bridge, and his own supporters and other Republicans would probably have just moved on from this. He dug his own hole in this situation. How is this our fault? Why is this America's fucking problem? Good Lord. And they lied about it. It does not matter who is paying your legal fees. It is the merits of the case that matter.
And the judge wasn't even, I guess, letting it be put in.
Is it put in? By the way, I said earlier when I saw this on Shitter, I was like, I'm getting a very Pat Robertson arguing after a fender bender kind of an energy from this. Does anybody else see that but me? Nobody else sees that but me? Is that the only... Right? I mean, a dead ringer. It's like he's doing an impersonation of Pat Robertson. You ran into me. We were driving down the street and you come out of nowhere. Of course I looked behind me. I know I've been driving for a long time. Like, you know what I mean? It's just totally, fucking hell. He totally sounds like it.
As evidence. The whole thing.
It's not evidence. It's not evidence. That's not evidence. It's information like everything else. Is not evidence. What's the evidence? Seriously. Stop using the word evidence, people. Like, just randomly. Fucking hell.
The thing is a scam.
What kind of scam? Like a Trump University scam, or a video phone scam, or a Trump steak scam, or, I don't know, American Football League scam, or what kind of scam are we talking about? I just want to know on the scam meter where to put it.
And it's a shame. And it's a disgrace.
It's a shamey sham scam.
To our country.
Why our country? Again, fuck off. You know what? I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad right now at the end of that. You know why? Because he didn't say thank you very much. He usually... He usually, after these fucking freakouts, goes, this is the end of our country, and we're all going to die, and the world is going to hell in a tube basket, and this is just filth and degradation. It's a disgrace. Thank you very much. We didn't even get I feel denied. We didn't even That's it. Just text Trump to 88022. Can I text fuck you to 88022? How about that? Yeah, right. Go fuck yourself, America. Good night. Right. Oh my God. So weird. He's such a strange little man. All right, I'm sorry. I got caught scrolling through all the blather that Trump's putting up. Now, on the other hand, beyond this, let's see if there's what the final thing is. If we've got an update on the, yeah. One question you have to decide is whether he acted on malice. What would be more on brand for? Ooh, this is fucking like the. Okay, let's compare and contrast though, shall we? And by the way, don't forget to hit the like button while we're at it. It's the morning show, and we need to build the audience for this show along with the rest of it. And I never do that stuff, and I always forget. And Venmo would really help. I'm just saying, my car is very expensive this week. It's not my fault. I'm driving the same car since 2012, and it's got fucking 180,000 miles on it. But I'm going to drive it until I get an electric car. I'm going to try and keep my waste to a minimum. Now, that might be sooner than I may not have a choice very soon, but we'll see. Anyways, so let's compare and contrast, shall we? Okay, here we go. This is Elena Habba. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine you're living your life. You have a beautiful family. You're third. You have a beautiful family, a wife, your third, kids, most of them adults, and you have a very serious job to do that gives you plenty of time to golf. And you work long days and long nights. You don't get into the actual office until 11 because you have executive time in the morning. And then you're gacked up on stimulants so late into the night that you can't get any sleep. And anyways, you work long days and long nights, and all of the sudden, you are hit with an allegation. There are no facts. Carol's lawyer objects. Kaplan says, sustained, move along. Move on to a subject different than you are embarking upon. Ladies and gentlemen, in our country, you have the right to speak. You have a constitutional right to speak. Kaplan sustains an objection. You have a constitutional right to some kinds of speech, not others. But you have to understand, Habba, Trump, Epstein, they're all, and I don't mean Epstein, I mean Epstein, they're all free speech absolutists. This is the crowd that believes that all speech should be free, including child porn. So I would like to see them argue differently. They're saying no limits on free speech. How the fuck do you think we stop that shit? Ladies and gentlemen, imagine you're living your life. You have a beautiful family, wife, and kids. Okay, that's it. Okay, then Crowley comes up. This is the response. So yeah, this kid. So yeah. Even Carol's attorneys are like, after Habba speaks, they're like, okay. Anyways, back to earth. There we go. Yeah. So this case is not about sexual assault. It's about defamation. Defamation of a woman who has been sexually assaulted. Defamation by the man who sexually assaulted her. One of the questions you have to decide is whether he acted with malice. What could be more on brand for Donald Trump than malice? Fuck, I love Sean Crowley. What could be more on brand for Donald Trump than malice? He is not the victim. This is her life. Help her take it back, make it stop, make him pay enough so that he will stop. And that's the issue. You sitting there, Donald Trump is sitting right there, and this motherfucker has already been fined more money than anybody on this jury more than likely will see in their entire fucking lives. And he's still attacking this woman. And he's bragging about how rich he is. He's got so much cash on hand. And at a time when probably if you weren't able to skip jury duty, you more than likely, I'm guessing, you got a little money in your pocket. You know, or you don't have as much as you'd like, but you got a little bit in there. But you're like, if I had a more consistent job, perhaps I could have gotten out of this. But yeah, he stormed out. This isn't a campaign rally. It's not a press event. This is a court of law, and it's Miss Carol's life. Donald Trump sexually assaulted her. He defamed her. He keeps defaming her. And continued, and he's not the victim. This is her life. Help him pay back, make it stop. Let's see, 29 minutes ago, 25. Okay, so she stacks these things together downhill from each of these chunks of this. Okay, gotcha. So where's I want to see the part where Habba gets, threatened with jail. Call President Trump. They're doing it because they didn't find her story to be credible, and they independently believe she was a liar. There's a beauty and danger of free speech. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Of tweets sent to Carol prior to Trump's comments. What? Whatever. Habba. President Trump has no more control over the thoughts and feelings of Twitter users than he does over the weather. Excuse me. As president of the United States, during the 4 years he was in office, everybody, including Roseanne, thinks that he had the power to change the weather. You do realize that, right, dumb fuck? You do realize that the Roseannes of the world, who are hardcore maggots, essentially think Donald Trump had the ability to manipulate the weather when he was president of the United States, right? With nukes, he could probably, not with a Sharpie or nuking a hurricane, but with actual DARPA stuff, right? That was the HARP stuff. Is that what it was? I get my conspiracy bullshit mixed up. I guess, you know what? It's just because I'm not committed enough to the details. I don't know what it is. I think it's the having a life and friends part. Really, it eats into my conspiracy theory time. You know what I mean? Anybody else have that problem? The whole having family and people to love and shit to do. It really does. It cuts into my conspiracy time. And there's a lot of details. And I would love to sit down in front of one of these folks so they could really lay it out. But I just, honestly, it's their breath. Sorry. Okay. So President has more control than he does with the weather. Again, Roseanne thinks he controlled the weather, and they want him to be in control of the weather again. House says of Trump, he has said the same thing over and over again. And do you know why? It's the truth. Carol's lawyer objects. Kaplan orders jury to disregard. We watched 6 days of a plaintiff trying to pin Twitter trolls' comments on a former president of the United States without accepting any responsibility for the media and press frenzy and the public profile that she wanted and still enjoys. By what? Calling out the president of the United States for sexual assault? After years of fearing to do it? Good Lord. Here's the problem. And my genuine worry, and I do not believe in many ways in the karmic wheel in this situation, but I find it very hard to believe that Alina Habba at some point, perhaps beyond the point where she's willing to put up with it, will not experience similar behavior or attempted behavior by Donald Trump and have what I would effectively call a Megyn Kelly moment. Oh, Kenneth. Oh, no. Hold on one second. I just saw that. Oh, man. That's really sad. He was a wonderful regular part of our conversation here. Does anybody know the details? I mean, it's not important per se, but it helps process sometimes. Yeah. He hadn't been around for a bit, but he passed. Yeah. Oh, man. Can I just say, and we'll all, this will take time to process. I don't expect everybody to have a directly visceral reaction to it immediately. Sometimes, grief and the experience of it, especially when you hear something or how you hear it, affects people in different ways. So everybody will process this on their own. But I would like to say, for the record, love you guys, and I'm glad you're here. And I know that we have many regulars who are in here, and I want you to know that and not just I, but many of the other chatters in here are very aware of your existence, even if they've never met you. And we get very concerned when any of you have an issue or are gone for a while, or we're flabbergasted and happy when you come back. And in the case of a passing of somebody that's in here, we all do experience it as a loss, and I think that's a credit to the quality of human beings that are in this chat on the regular. I'm just saying. That includes you too, maggots. I know you're sitting back there trying to be all mad. But, you too. We don't wish death, illness, or harm on anybody, because I would rather argue. I would rather have a spirited debate with a fellow human being than wish ill on anybody, because when someone passes, it has an impact on everyone around them, but also the sort of ripple effect of their existence. You don't know who they've touched or who they have benefited over time, who will hear of their passing and it will impact them as well. And they'll carry that sadness in their own way. So just want to remind you guys of that in a moment like this. I really. Yeah, I'm aware of that even when I catch shit from some of you guys. But I want you to know that I'm at least having an honest conversation about shit. I'm not, none of this is me like dicking around and taking you for granted. Again, when we talk lightly about a subject, it does not mean the subject is taken lightly. So, yeah. I'm sorry, Harley. Yep. And I know what, I think that's one of the things that longtime viewers of the show know that I share with you guys on the regular is every time I walk up to the top of the stairs, I see pictures of 3 people that I've lost in the last couple of years alone. And each one of them, devastating in its own way. And I'm not going to, I don't allow myself to kind of dwell on it too much, but I process it honestly when it affects me. Yeah. And that's always okay. And I think it's at the top of the stairs is a picture of my first gig at the Viper Room with my band, and my buddy Robert Hall was playing bass with me, and it was like the happiest I'd ever seen him. And he was so happy to be playing music, and we had such a great time together doing that. And I'm always aware of my loss and his family's loss and all the people that he touched, and the great work he did as an artist, and as a he was a creature effects makeup guy. He did Buffy and Angel, and myriad of other projects, but he was so talented. And so that never goes away. It's just, but it also informs who you are, and so we'll all work our way through, how this news affects us. And hopefully the reaction we have to it, finds some way to turn this into appreciation of everybody. And I think COVID, put this in front of everybody's face on the regular. Just raises your awareness of the gift that people are in your life. And that you always have to remind them. That's why in my family, we always say, I love you when we leave the house. That's why we always say, I love you when we hang up the phone. That's why we always say, I love you, at least once during every FaceTime. And why on the regular, my mom, my dad, and my sister, and my girlfriend, and her son, and my son, and everybody, if anybody I text with gets an I love you on the regular in the family, because it's important. And and Boston Brian, I just want to send big love out to you, brother, because I know you've gone through a bunch of this stuff recently. And when I heard the news about what Brian had gone through, on the one hand, I felt kind of the sadness and kind of the automatic reaction I think a lot of have, like, oh no, that you just feel when you hear that news. But on the other hand, along with it, I would say, just so abundantly aware of what a good person you are and what a lovely soul you are. And so I know it hits you that much harder because of that. So I just want to send some love out to Boston Brian right now too, because of the loss he's experienced in the last few months. Right? On that note, we'll just hold that space and pick ourselves up and do what we do, because I'm here for a reason. And everyone can process it, appreciate you too, Brian. You're a good man. And that is high praise coming from me. I mean it. It is a standard that means a lot to me. So, especially when we are on the regular, if I might add, talking about an absolute shithole of a man. Donald Trump does not earn the title man in any respect. It's pitiful. Let's see if why did that jump? Oh, because she updated this. Is there another one? Okay, Crowley's. Okay, that's Crowley's last words on their defense argument. Okay. Because I also want to show you something else. Let's see if I can find the Kudlow video. Because you guys know how how close to chucking my fucking iPad across the room, which is where I read most of my news. I am, as Bloomberg and Market Watch and all these motherfuckers finally get around to recognizing that what I, as somebody who is quite frankly not an economist, just a logistician, whatever. I'm like just a man of logic and reason, and also as a comedian, somebody who has an eye for details and bullshit, which is really, that's the gig. This is, where is it? Here we go. Let me bring this over here. This is Kudlow talking about the Biden economic news right now.
Now, yes, I'm an honest broker. He got a good 3.3% GDP number for the fourth quarter, following a good 4.9% in the third quarter, okay? If I were he, I would be bragging about it too. And inflation has come down. All's fair in love, war, and politics. Brag when you can. I get it. I've been there. Now,
brag when you can. I get it. I've been there. No, you haven't. You bullshitted your way through a bunch of this stuff. Like, this is the number of, yeah. Oh, and this is the other thing too. Like, hold on.
Real quick, final question on the Dow, S&P 500, U.S. stock market hitting all-time highs today. Second record so far in 2024. If we can pop up the Dow, what's happening here and what? I don't know.
What's happening here? I gotta say, I'm starting to question my entire existence. Every little bit of everything that I believe is falling apart. What's going on? Larry Kudlow, are you my mother? Oh.
No, we were.
Thank you, Andrea, for posting that. And Ken's family posted on his account. He said, Ken passed this morning peacefully. Thank you for your support over the last few months. Oh, my God. We're lucky to have him. Thank you for loaning him to us. Ken's family, we love you and we appreciate you letting him spend time with us.
We were scratching our heads earlier. You're talking about the resiliency. I can give you my take. I think there's still great anticipation that the Fed's going to cut rates this year.
I agree.
Right. Because they rose rates and it didn't have an actual impact. And so they're going to bring them back the fuck down. They just tempered some of the investment world. They didn't change the fucking material manufacturing base of the work base of the United States at all with that shit.
I think that's exactly right. And maybe setting up for disappointment.
You wish it, dude. You get used to disappointment.
On the other hand, Donald Trump has said several times the last few days the stock market's rallying because it's anticipating that he will return to the presidency. Oh. I just thought I'm not saying that.
Who the fuck thinks that the stock market reacts to something that's going to happen a year from now? Who the fuck thinks that maggots are putting their money back in the stock market for the next 10 months, the next year of the Biden administration in power, if they think Biden's going to wreck the fucking economy and destroy it, and we're in hell and in the tubes of hell and all this kind of shit? Why wouldn't they, and wait for it, why wouldn't they just buy the dip? Why wouldn't you just wait? If Biden's going to crash the fucking economy like you keep saying he's going to, or then why don't you hold your money? Huh? Why don't you just keep getting cash, baby? Right? That's what they always tell you. Getting cash. And then sit on that shit. Buy Bitcoin, you bunch of idiots. Just sit on Bitcoin where that's real money. You know, not this, it's like gold that you can imagine. It's like imaginary gold. Sit on that shit. And then just wait. You've said it. Biden's going to crash the economy. It's going to take a shit. And then just slide in there and pick up shit for pennies. Or people are getting in now because this is a low point. Because we're coming out of this and it's going to keep going up. And these motherfuckers are like, shit, if I don't buy into this stock right now, I'm going to have to wait for a split to be able to afford any of this shit. Meanwhile, Jimmy Dore is hawking silver. Motherfucker.
Analytically, that is his view. My experience with Mr. Trump in the years that I worked for him, he's a very good investor. He knows how things work. So you can take it for what it's worth, okay, Sandra?
Good to have you.
No, he isn't. He's a terrible fucking investor. What are you talking? No. First of all, two things, if I may. Yes? Point of order, Mr. Chairman. If I may, ladies and gentlemen, please gather around, if you may. Couple points. One, why the fuck would Larry Kudlow, would Larry Kudlow say when he's working with Donald Trump in the fucking White House, are they discussing his investments? Really? Really? In the Oval Office, in the White House, you, as one of his cabinet, were discussing his investments while he was president of the United States. Anybody? Right. Insider trading, you're goddamn right. The other thing is citation fucking needed, because we've got a call coming in from the Taj Mahal about the value of and the intelligence behind Donald Trump's investment strategies. This motherfucker decided to go all in on his on China and Russia right before they shit the bed. Does that matter at all? Is a detail? You know who isn't discussing their stock market investments? Joe Biden and his economic advisors. That's who. Not at all. Ugh. Just this motherfucker. Listen to this shit again, real quick.
I worked for him. He's a very good investor.
Hold on. Back the fuck up.
It's anticipating that he will return to the presidency.
Oh.
Here it is.
Oh. I just thought I'm not saying that analytically. That is his view. My experience with Mr. Trump in the years that I worked for him.
My experience with Mr. Trump in the years that I worked with him, that was when he was in the White House.
He's a very good investor.
Yeah? How'd the wall work out? Why are you talking about investments with the President of the United States while he's President of the United States? Who? Mr. fucking pinstripe suit? Here's a good idea, Mr. Pinstripe suit and purple tie. Why don't you tell us all about the elites again? How about that? Why don't you just, while you're towing the fucking Trump line, why don't you just we'll all get out some fucking Franks and beans and we'll make s'mores and sit around a fire, and you can tell us all the fuck about the elites with your purple tie and your pinstripe suit and your fucking New York skyline background fake thing at Fox News in the morning. Why don't you tell me about the and the fact that you work with Donald Trump and you did what? Well, when you were in the White House with Donald Trump, you talked about his investment portfolio. You did that, did you? You discussed that? You do realize, asshole, that in any normal time on Earth 1, this motherfucker could be pulled in front of a congressional committee for that statement. I'm fine.
Know how things work. So you can take it for what it's worth, okay?
It's worth... I'll tell you what it's worth. You want to know what it's worth? You know what it's worth? Fucking Kudlow? You know what it's worth? It's worth a fucking poker chip from the Taj Mahal. That's what it's worth. It has all the value of a Taj Mahal fucking poker chip.
Good to have you here, Larry.
The Kudlow Trust is doing very well no matter what the reason, and I'm happy about that.
Oh,
My Saint.
The Kudlow Trust... What?
Doing very well no matter what the reason, and I'm happy about that.
Oh.
The Kudlow Trust is doing very well no matter what the reason. I don't know if I can... They're trying to kill me. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to wind me up. Here they are. I'm trying to do a nice morning show. I'm trying to just have a morning show like I do and not have this kind of thing happen. And I'm, and then yet they come along and they try to goose me, and it's not going to work. I am not going to let this wind me up. I'm not going to do it. No sirree, Bob. This is not what... What have I told you guys repeatedly about this motherfucker and Maria Bartiromo and any of these other dipshits Neil Cavuto or whatever, all these dipshits on Fox Business, who are all playing clips of Donald Trump and supporting him in the election and all this kind of stuff while he says that the economy's going to crash and it's terrible, it's never been worse, and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, what are we going to do about this? We got to get Biden out of there and we got to get Trump in there, while at the same time telling their broker and their whoever their investment company is that they invest through to like, fuck, I hope this keeps up. Jesus Christ, if Trump gets anywhere near this, the only thing we're going to have to do is if he wins, we'll just fucking sell everything and go to cash and just wait until a Democrat comes in and cleans it up again. We'll just buy everything back. They want this roll to keep going. They're all full of shit. Kudlow is pissed right now that he doesn't have a job in the Biden White House. But the only reason things are going this well is because Larry Kudlow doesn't have a job in the Biden White House. This is fucking crazy. I mean, this is one of those, it's a great example of how we get caught in so much of the kind of minutia bullshit. Like the silly sayings, the silly language that they use, and these kind of like, oh, isn't it funny that Larry Kudlow is suddenly kissing Biden's ass a little bit or whatever. That's the news. And that carries the day. That is primary story. But in this video, just floating around later, this motherfucker has just admitted that he and Trump engaged in insider trading. And this motherfucker is also admitting that he is lying. He's lying to the American people on the regular. He's got an investment fund that's doing well. It's just these motherfuckers, like, Biden is the best president for their investments in their fucking lifetime, and that's the problem they have. But it won't stop them from being completely full of shit. It will not. Dow close. Yeah, 30, and the Dow going above 38,000. Everyone's going to go back up. Ew, Bob, why do you have to do that? Bob, why do you have to post the pictures of his fucking hand sores again? I just want to, that's like, there's enough shit we have to deal with, and puts it in the rearview mirror, and then you got to post it. Oh, Bob Seska. You. Yeah, so anyways, this is all just like, everybody, like even Kudlow's doing this. They're just going to freak the fuck out. Speaking of freaking the fuck out, hi chat room. Love you guys. Now. What was the other thing I wanted to look at this morning? Because there's a couple of things. I might have to do, let's see. Jesus. There was an interesting article on Daily Beast this morning about how the Hunter Biden committee hearings are blowing up in their face because fucking Comer's LLC was shut down for not filing proper paperwork. While he was shuffling fucking property around. Hold on, I'll see if I can. It's just like, how do you motherfuckers not walk into these rakes? Jesus. Oh, this was fun too. So Daily Beast has 2 articles this morning that were pretty, like, that's why I was all squinty-eyed and reading so early in the morning. But I'll show this to you real quick. It's fucking terrific. Steve Bannon's bank admits bank account may have evidence of fraud. So if you don't recall, and if we have any maggots that are in the chat today, hello, welcome. Thank you for your time. Comer paid for an abortion? Oh my God. Please send the link. Okay. Steve Bannon admits bank account may have evidence of fraud. By the way, hasn't he already been, this is about the border wall bullshit. And he was pardoned by Trump for this stuff. If you don't recall, because, Donald Trump pardoned Steve Bannon for the crime of stealing from maggots. Amazing. Just one of those details. Can I just say you that is like in the giant like shit crown that Donald Trump, the crusty fucking short and curly nasty fucking crown he wears with like gems of shit shoved into it. One of the greatest is the fact that he pardoned Steve Bannon for ripping off maggots. I mean, honestly, that's a fucking miracle. That's incredible. That sounds like it sounds like a fucking spoof. It sounds like a joke. You know, when people are like, you couldn't write this stuff. Yeah, you could. You just throw it out because you'd feel like a fucking hack. Like, it's ridiculous. You can make up anything. You just wouldn't. Steve Bannon is in a maelstrom of his own making. Now, I don't know why maelstrom is a hot link. We got to find out. Steve Bannon's legal woes just got even messier. I don't know why maelstrom is the word that they used, and that was the clickable, but what is 2 words? Tough shit. Anyways, so let's see. The conspiracy spewing right-wing political agitator had the gall to stiff his lawyer, former federal prosecutor Robert Bob Costello, who stuck by him for years. Specifically, Costello was Bannon's lawyer on a number of cases, including when he faced criminal charges for pocketing donor funds intended for a privately funded border wall between the United States and Mexico. Now, how many of you think that Democrats donated to that and lost money? That a single Democrat or independent-leaning voter, for that fucking matter. How many? And if your big guess is goose egg, you're fucking right. None. Not one. The only people that Steve Bannon ever steals from are Trump Republicans. Only. Mainly because the rest of us aren't stupid enough to give him or anything associated with him our money. But beyond that, maggots keep doing it. Holy fuck. These assholes follow the war room and watch him laugh in Mike Pillow's fucking face. Mock the shit out of Mike Pillow to his fucking face. While Mike Pillow's trying to like get these maggots to buy his pillows and all this shit, and Bannon's making money off of the ads, right? He gets his little promo code cut, right? To finance the show. Mike Pillow's putting him on the air. Mike Pillow is the only reason that the War Room has any fucking funding at this point, largely because Bannon's other donor, who was like a fake anti-CCP agent. He's one of the guys that like the Chinese government sends out, and Russians used to do this too. Like they sent out like anti-Russian agitators during the Cold War who were actually pro-Russia. They would just try to drive up the crazy, that kind of stuff. There were a lot of these things where they even in the old days posed as FBI agents, and that's where some of the mythology around FBI agents playing both sides of the angle came from back in the day as well, just for the record. Same thing with China. China learned that from them. You know, there's a total lack of originality in the CCP. I will say that. I mean, they all fucking dress like Soviets anyways. But the point is, these guys, they send out people who are like, boo, down with the CCP. And what they do is they raise money from all the people who are attacking the CCP. They get their email addresses, they get their phone numbers, they get them to show up at events, they take fucking photographs of them because they're donating to this cause, and then they take the money that's supposed to go to fight the CCP and they buy a fucking yacht with it and they bug off. And then the CCP has a list of everybody who donated to this motherfucker that they can chase down and they can fuck with them all over the world. It's not a new scam, but they've kind of perfected it. And Bannon and Guo Wenguai, his partner in crime, is exactly that motherfucker. He is a collector of information, personal information, for the CCP. And Steve Bannon facilitates it. And at the same time, Steve Bannon does the same thing to maggots. I'm fighting for the wall. That's right. Give me your money. and I'll fight the wall and stuff. Give me your email address and all this kind of stuff. Donate to my thing. We're gonna raise money. Everybody's gonna gather. You're part of the War Room posse. Give me your information. Feed your information into me or whatever, and I'll sell that information to the Trump campaign, and they'll buy it from me in this little money laundering scheme that goes back and forth. They are fucking with you, maggots. Never in his life has Steve Bannon been able to steal a dime from Democrats. He always steals from maggots, and Donald Trump pardoned him. All right. So it was only a matter of time before the law firm of Davidoff, Hutcher, and Citron. Davidoff, Hutcher, and Citron sounds like an electro band from the early 80s. Give it up for Davidoff, Hutcher, and Citron. I am Citron. Hello, I'm Davidoff, Hutcher, and I am Citron. Sorry. I don't know why that struck me as that. Man, I saw Davidoff, Hutcher, and Citron early before they became Bauhaus. And it was really, if you go back to their early vinyl records, it was the beginning of techno. They're the first person to ever release an album in binary. When you would put it on, you would just hear a series of zeros and ones. I am Citron. Sorry. That's gonna be stuck in my fucking head all day. Just pitiful. Citron. Oh, yeah. Okay. No, sorry. But now the miserly mistakes come back to haunt him. Bannon has asked the New York State judge to block Costello's law firm from perusing through his bank statements and reviewing his assets. A request that has required Bannon to awkwardly concede that his personal finances likely have evidence that could bolster Manhattan District Attorney's case against him. He's pleading the fifth, essentially, in another case where he's like in a civil case. DHC's taking a post-judgment discovery from Mr. Bannon poses a significant risk of compromising Mr. Bannon's Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Bannon's current defense attorney, Harlan Protas? Really? Protas? Do all lawyers have weird names, or just the ones that, like in Trumpville, they all gotta be? This is Alina Habba and Harlan Protas and Ty Cobb, Professor T Ass. Is that what it's like? Is that Professor T Firefly? Can't you see what I'm trying to say? I love you. All right. Protas, Professor T Ass, also argued that subjecting Bannon to questions under oath from the aggrieved law firm's attorneys also poses a significant risk for the same reason. He might say something damning that could bolster two ongoing criminal cases against him. Bannon, who helped coordinate a key part of former President Donald Trump's undemocratic plot to stay in power after losing the 2020 election, refused to testify about his so-called Green Bay sweep to congressional investigators, as Bannon's lawyer Costello ran interference when the Jan 6 committee issued a subpoena ordering the MAGA media figure to testify and represented him when the Department of Justice followed up with criminal charges. Bannon was convicted by a Washington jury in 2022, but he remains out of prison while he appeals the judgment. And by the way, and then he didn't pay the guys who are keeping him out of jail under appeal, right? When the Manhattan DA, who keeps reviving federal crime cases that faltered during Trump administration, developed a criminal case against Bannon over his involvement in the We Build the Wall, a scammy, xenophobic project. Well, I gotta say, xenophobia was the sales pitch, but the scam was actually because it wasn't xenophobic. It was actually sucking money out of the pockets of maggots. It never hurt a migrant ever. Never amounted to shit. That was just the way to. And by the way, all you're doing is stealing money from xenophobes. That's the most endearing part of this whole process. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York criminally charged Bannon and his business partners over the ordeal in 2020. But the one-time Trump White House chief of strategist managed to score a pardon from his former boss. Yep. He got a pardon. Pardon me while I bust into fat. All right. Yeah. Trump pardoned him because he was only stealing money from maggots. And what do you think the chances are? Yeah, I think the chances are he got pardoned because he got a cut. Bannon promised him a cut of the money. Thank you, Andrea, for posting that. And in memory of Ken's, please donate to the American Cancer Society or to Wild Horse Ranch Rescue. That's lovely. Thank you. How? Yeah. How do they let this slide? This motherfucker's on the air every day. How do maggots let this slide? How do they not in this? I mean, does he even have an open chat? I don't know. How are they not in his chat all the time going, how dare you scam money from maggots on a fake build the wall scheme? How is that not always a thing? Then, I always wonder why people are in whatever Rusty Trombones chat without bringing up his sexual bullshit. So, that's all right. Who can say? By the way, chat, you're wonderful. Hi there. Maybe what now? Whoops, that slipped by. I missed it. Let's see if I can. There's a thing. Doobie-doo. Also, Poopicker Upper said, for Ken, gave a super chat. Can you do a complete speech of Biden? Some of my Trumpy friends are sending me his Wisconsin speech, and all I can find is from Fox. Sure, yeah, we can do a full one. And Amethyst Jones, thank you so much for the super chat. Proud to be a sparkler. Says, thanks, Hal, for the kind words. Thank you, Rose. Absolutely. And Midas Sue, thank you for the super chat in honor of Kenneth. That's very lovely. And Boston Brian's a member as well. And he says, Rip Ken, very grateful for you all. You know why? Because he's a friggin' mensch. Because you're a lovely person, Brian. God damn it, I just want to give you a hug right now, you crazy kid. And your craziness. And Justine Simons super chat and said, Hal, my twin sister and I are huge fans. Today is our birthday. Can you give us, Justina and Renee, a shout out for our birthday? Absolutely. Happy birthday to you too. Happy birthday to you too. Happy birthday, Justina and Renee. Or Renee, if she was first and Justina was second. I don't even know. They didn't tell me in necessarily order. It's interesting that you wrote that you were first, but maybe she was born first and we don't quite know, but we'll figure it out someday. Happy birthday to you. Not a joke. that work? It's not quite a cameo, but it'll do. Yeah. I keep threatening to do the cameos again, but there's such what in the weird look how my chat got all weird and what is that? I mean, I kind of like it. What the hell? Hold on, maybe. Oh, the chat's going on by in the background on a double screen. Let's see. Okay, I got to take that out of there. Yes, I want to get rid of that. Are you nuts? Okay, that's much better. Thank you so much. By the way, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Yada da 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 da. Venmo. If you have Venmo, you just take a picture of that with your phone, and then you can send me I was out of coffee. This is mostly milk. I used up all my coffee this morning. I had like that much. Barely any coffee. I need coffee. Just kidding. BJ Milbach says they admire that he's that Bannon's ripping people off. I don't know that that's the case. I just think they kind of ignore it. I think they live in this kind of this like bubble of just like, okay, I will admit fully that when Biden gaffes, I kind of shrug it off. I don't care. Like, I could cover it, and as a comedian, I'm completely capable of making jokes about people who fuck up when they're talking. But at no point has Joe Biden ever said, to my knowledge, I have the best words. I know the best people. And so if he fucks up somebody's name and then fixes it, or he fucks up a word, or he gets carried away in a speech and flubs the end of the line or whatever, like any politician or any public speaker will do on occasion, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. So I blow right by it. It does not, and it doesn't, I don't think that if he screws up when he's making a statement, the difference between Biden and Trump, very distinctly for me, is that when Biden like fucks up a sentence or some detail in when he's talking, he doesn't fuck it up on paper later. You know what I mean? He doesn't go like, because when Trump fucks up, his response is always, well, if you really think about it, I didn't really screw up. What I said was true. And it's not. And that fucker's ego is so goddamn delicate that he will just double down on his mistakes. And when you're talking about legislation and the kind of shit that would affect people's lives, that matters. If you get a date wrong or a place wrong, or you look over your shoulder and see the wrong person or whatever, you think people, like his wife, they always use the wife and the sister because they swap positions. He's like, my sister and my wife or whatever. And he's like, oh, you moved on me. And they're like, he doesn't even know the wife from his sister. Meanwhile, Donald Trump fucking thought E. Jean Carroll was Marla Maples and said, she's not my type. And then mistook her for the woman that he cheated on his first wife with and then ended up marrying. He had a fucking kid with the woman that he thought was E. Jean Carroll was in the fucking picture. That is the equivalent if Biden fucked his sister, mistaking her for Jill. Do you see the level of dissonance in this confusion? So and when Biden screws up, he's aware of it, and he never says, I was right the whole time. Anyways, fuck it. I don't know. Write down that I was right. Change it in the transcript that I was right. He just doesn't. If it's a fuck up, it's there. He lives with it, like we all do. Everybody fucks up when they're talking, extemporaneously, especially. Man, I talk for a living. I'm on this all the time. We're dealing with details flying all over the place. I'm reading articles about shit, and then I come on and do a show, and then I'm reading the chat, and the chat, like, half of the talking points from the chat are like, hey, but what about this? And I'm like, I'll be addressing that, and half address another point, and I'm like, okay, they think I overlapped both those things when I'm talking about two separate things, and I don't have time to go back, so fuck it. And I just move ahead. That's completely normal. But at no point am I like, everything I say is absolute genius, and I never make any mistakes. I just operate like a human being, and you guys understand that if I make, like, you guys, there have been a couple times where I misstated a word or whatever because we're talking about a bunch of different shit, and I like swapped a word because I'm talking too fast, and my lips get ahead of my brain, which is not a bad thing, ladies. Just saying, it happens. Anyways, and you guys are like, you said this, not this. And I'm like, oh, fuck, did I? Sorry. That's how you handle that shit. That's how humans handle it. That's how normal people handle it. They don't go, I did not. No. If you really think about it, you were wrong. And what I said was actually right. No. Gravity does go upward. Gravity is, no, rain actually goes, it's like lightning. You know how they used to say lightning doesn't strike the earth, it goes actually up from the ground, whatever. Rain does the same thing. I didn't mix up rain and lightning. I both go up. Fuck you. Right? So and by the way, I don't think, no, the blue on my shirt is the same blue as back there. There might be a green hint or whatever, but this is actually, this is blue. It just happens to match the background. Right. Biden laughs at his gaffes and gets on with it. And Trump sweats it every fucking day. Jesus. You know, like how angry he got about the Nikki Haley gaffe and went and just like, Nikki Haley's destroying America. Blah, blah, blah. Like he just ranted and he tried to bury it under a bunch of different fucking posts. Meanwhile, they are putting together, let's see if I can find this. Hold on. Yeah. Like Trump's fucking gaffing all over the place. And Trump is a loser is trending. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think. This is fucking amazing. Is this a real picture? Hold on, I gotta show you something. I gotta show you guys something. This one. That awkward moment when you realize Obama's helmet was signed by the whole team. Jesus Christ. That's like, those are the things. The sweetest. Such a sweet. That's these days in AI, it's hard to tell what's what, but if that's real, it's fucking hilarious. I don't even know this woman.
No idea. I don't even know who this woman is.
I think I need to grab that as an audio drop. I don't even know who this woman is. And this is a totally sane face to make. Like that's how all of us react to it. I don't even know what the fuck is a guy. Like fucking falling. I don't know where I am. Why are you up at 2 o'clock in the morning in Mar-a-Lago? Why did you fucking run into that room after you got back in court? And like after you ate, cleaned yourself up or whatever the fuck, took a bunch of stimulants, tossed and turned, got all sweaty, got up, threw your suit back on 2 o'clock in the fucking morning and brought your team in there to film you going, I'm gonna have video time, get in here, fucking Eric, shoot this or whatever. I don't know what the fuck. Like, good, one take, bam, see you later. Ugh. Oh, God. What? Oh, that's awesome. Girl. Oh, so good. Girl. Girl. And that's from the duck lips picture. We talked about that before, where she had fresh Botox and she was fucking totally doing the girl. Thanks, Dethal. I appreciate the super chat. You don't have to do better. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for the support. That's great. And by the way, you can gift memberships and gift subscriptions if that's well within your means. If you want to do that kind of thing, that helps people who maybe can't afford a membership or can't afford subscriptions and have to watch the ads and all that kind of stuff. You can help them out and you can donate those things. That's a lovely thing to do. On Facebook, you can do stars and then there's Venmo and all that other stuff. But girl, you've given us no choice but civil war. That looks like a weird Brian Posehn, like evil Brian Posehn picture. That's not right. I'm Donald Trump's president. Okay, that's fine. Sorry, everyone who's not in the MAGA code agrees Trump is the loser. Love the guys in the crowd who shouted at the end.
We lost the Senate. We lost the House. We lost the White House. We lost in 2018, we lost in 2020, and we lost in 2022. The worst kept secret in politics is how badly the Democrats want to run against Donald Trump.
Trump's a loser! I don't remember being at that rally. Man, if I drank, I would think that was probably me. Ketchup. Correct. Right. This is the Trump is a loser is trending. Am I getting through to you, Alba? She had a very... Okay.
And, we have to do what's good for our party. And she was up and I said, wow, she's doing like a speech like she won. She didn't win. She lost. And,
Yeah, again, this is, by the way, he acts like this is not how politics is done. And I got news for you, motherfucker. half the people in that crowd, if she started gaining ground on him enough, they would literally go, well, she's talking like a winner. That's how you do it. You just fake it till you make it. That's how you do it. Right? Bootstraps, motherfucker. Bootstraps. Maybe people are saying that Biden referring to Trump as a loser is pissing him off. Be a real shame if everyone treated Trump as a loser. Be a real shame. Okay, Brooklyn Dad. I need to have Brooklyn Dad on here. I'd love to talk to him sometime. Is that a possibility? Let's try to wrangle that up at some point. I have some, oh God. Always just looked like Putin gave him a fucking colonoscopy with a fucking porcupine dick. Lahoo, yeah. You're goddamn right. It's a rough one. Yeah, there they go. I'm just the two of them. Then he stormed out of the courtroom because he couldn't bear to hear the truth. I gotta say, I disagree. I don't think it was because he couldn't bear to hear the truth. I think it was because his diaper was full. I rest my case. There's no fucking way that that wasn't the reason. Oh, and Gavin Newsom is trending again because of his statement, because of this one. I think it's this one. He was on MSNBC. This is really driving Republicans crazy. And he is so fucking setting himself up for 2028 in a lot of ways. And I got to tell you, let me just be abundantly clear. I marched with Gavin Newsom for gay marriage from Harvey Milk Square to the Supreme Court building in San Francisco when he was mayor. He was a good dude. And it struck me at the time that he came from like a politician dispenser. Like the dude was such a fucking pro in back then. I was like, there's no way this dude isn't going to run for president one day because he got it together. But he was also a good man. He was a good human being. And we had a great conversation that day. And this is when I think he was still with Kimberly Guilfoyle, right? And there was this point where he got away from her and he got with his wife, his now wife. And everybody was like, well, that's the end of his presidential career. He was knocking boots with this other lady and he fucking left left Kimberly Guilfoyle. And that's, she's in local media here in San Francisco. So he's screwed now. And now looking back, I'm like, oh my God, what a great act of judgment on his part, where he, in spite of the fact that it might have cost him politically at the time, he was like, I can't be with this woman. And now we all know why. Ooh. So, yeah, he's super good. So this is him, I think, talking about...
They won't touch it. They don't want to solve this problem. They want to use it for political purposes. And again, I say this as a border state governor. No one has to introduce me to this issue. Yeah. We're the largest port in the Western Hemisphere in the state of California. We live this. And I think it is a disgrace what the Republican Party is doing, what Donald Trump is doing. And this is hidden in plain sight. He sent out a tweet or some truth, whatever, saying, kill it. Yeah. And these guys are so weak. It's so pathetically weak, this Republican Party. And the new speaker said, oh, yes, sir, what else would you like us to do? We don't care about America. We don't care about our freedoms and liberties. We care about politics exclusively at the expense of the American people, because all we care about is winning for winning's sake. That is shameful.
All right. Agreed. And you'll notice his hand gestures are like very Clinton-esque, 92 Clinton-esque. And I guess he's left-handed or whatever, because it's like he's got big fingers. So it's like, it's very, there's that point where in going from president, they went from pointing fingers to this because thumbs up were fuck you, and pointing or making chopping motions internationally was a difficult thing. Now we've all moved past that, and the fucking Saudis don't care about it anymore. They used it as a manipulation tactic to basically try and make Clinton and Gore look weaker. So, and they never stop using it. That's the funny part. But we're supposed to change American hand gestures because it might offend them. But if they were like, fuck America, we're just like, oh, I guess they got a point, or I'm like, this is stupid. So, but Gavin is just a fucking beast. He's so good at this, and he's really, honest to God, he's like matured into a kind of, take no shit, take no prisoners approach that I think is necessary for the next phase of democratic politics. And you put him in contrast. I mean, you put Biden in contrast to fucking Trump, and it's embarrassing for Trump. Put like Newsom in there against any Republican that could possibly be coming up, because again, Trump has decapitated, metaphorically speaking, all of his potential rivals. Yeah. Oh, and this, I'll end on this one because I got it back to here. Hold on, let me try and blow this up. This is, this is Janet Yellen talking in at the Economic Club of Chicago. We love Chicago, don't we now? We love Chicago. Okay, so here
President Biden and I did not. Instead of contracting, the economy has continued. Some forecasters thought a recession last year was inevitable. President Biden and I did not. Instead of contracting, the economy has continued to grow, driven by American workers and President Biden's economic strategy.
Yep.
It now produces far more goods and services than it did before the pandemic. The data released just this morning shows strong economic growth in 2023, 3.1% over the course of the year.
Check.
At the same time, inflation has come down significantly. Consumer sentiment has increased by 29% since November, the biggest two-month increase since 1991, and it's now at its highest level since 2021.
Check.
And the labor market is healthy. The prime
a Newsom Whitmer ticket? Killer. That's a great idea.
age labor force participation rate is up over 2 percentage points from January of 2021. And
where, by the way, we're almost at a point where there were more jobs than people in general. Like, again, this is all that one of the hidden details that nobody ever brings up about the labor market right now is the fact that there are so many open jobs and some that they just stopped looking.
Was above its pre-pandemic.
Not the people, not the employees, which is how it used to be. The employers, they're like, we just don't have, we're going to have to find a way to move this work to like 5 of the people we have here because we could afford another person, but we can't find another person. So we're going to have to pay these 5 people that we have a percentage higher to do the extra work of that one employee that we would bring in, just spread it out evenly. And that's part of the reason why wages are rising, because you don't thin the work out over an available workforce.
Pandemic peak for all of 2023. The unemployment rate is near historic lows. It has been below 4% for 23 months now.
23 months. Let's go, Brandon.
Which is a stretch that has not been seen during the last 50 years. Like our response to the pandemic, our recovery matters. Mm-hmm. It matters for the middle class. Household median wealth increased by 37% between 2019 and 2022, and this is the largest 3-year increase on record. Real wages have risen from their pre-pandemic levels, especially quickly for middle-income households.
Did you hear that part? Listen to that again.
And because wages have
Hold on. Oh, it's not backing up. Hold on. I got to put this on this screen.
risen more than practically real wages have risen from their pre-pandemic levels, especially quickly for middle-income households.
Real wages have risen from their pre-pandemic levels.
and because wages...
By the way, if anybody thinks that you recover from something like COVID, and because, Biden's biggest problem right now might be that he's making it look easy. Honest to God. Because it ain't. It's not guaranteed. Same thing with the Biden administration or the Obama administration when they were dealing with the economic crash of 2008. There was no guarantee we were going to recover from that. Everybody just kind of looks back and like, well, we went through it and we stabilized and we did some stuff and whatever. That was not guaranteed. Shit could have gone south super easy. But they did solve it and they did fix it and they did bring it around. And so everybody, right about the time that it starts getting normal again, they blame them. Fucking the Republicans ran on the fact that more people went on food stamps during the Obama administration than any time in history. Because of the fucking crash. The crash that was caused by the economic policies and we'll also tack in the debt accrued because of the Afghanistan and the Iraq wars, but of the Republican Party who was in control. Democrats fix that shit, spend all this time building it back up, and the fucking TYTs of the world pull this "what have you done for me lately" horse shit. And the only difference between during the Obama years and the Biden years is that they're not waiting for the end of the 8-year cycle to start bullshitting about that. They're not waiting until he gets a full 2 cycles to question whether Democrats should run it for the next 8 years, which is dumb anyways. Because again, if you really want progress, I got to tell you, kids, it's going to take 8, 12, 16 years to establish a program, get it up and running, keep it funded, keep it functional, tinker around the edges to make it work, and then get it to the point where it's a totally reliable program. It takes 2 presidencies to do that. And if you throw in like, well, I don't know, I don't like it this way, let's just go this way for a little while, which is the fucking TYT method. Like they make money when the world is wrecked, so they live off the fuck. They're like a stupid, sickly, fat, sweaty, gross version of the dragons in Reign of Fire, where they live off ash. They eat ash. So their whole point is just, that's why they breathe fire in the first place, is because they eat ash. That's what TYT lives off, the ashes of society. If there was an actual solution to any of this shit, they'd be done. Fucking going back to like Cenk and Anna playing Spot the fucking camel toe. They'd be back to doing Spot the camel toe, which is how they started that fucking dump of a show. Other than that, I have no opinion.
Have risen more than prices, middle-class Americans now have more purchasing power. New Treasury analysis shows that a worker earning the median wage today can buy the same goods and services as in 2019 with nearly $1,400 left over.
Left over. There you go. That's this clip. I think that's the limit of the time on that clip. That is...
Some forecasters thought...
Yeah. If you are selling, if you live off of ash, that's the worst possible news for you. And let me tell you why I have the show I have and I do the stuff that I do. Because I don't live off the ash, kids. I want shit to work. I got other shit I can do. I can entertain folks without Donald Trump existing in the world. I have proved it many, many times. We did, I asked yesterday how many people only knew me from this show, and it was fucking fascinating. It was terrific. It's almost like because one of the weirdest things about just the kind of famous I am is that when someone comes up to me, I honestly don't know what they know me from. Somebody will come up, I might have a general idea if they're a Queer as Folk fan or a Dude Where's My Car fan, or if they're youngish, they're in their early 20s or something, or their late teens, they might be a Dude Where's My, or they might be a Lab Rats fan, right? And it's great. Like, we have some like guys that work at the whiskey who are like, you know, barbacks and security and that kind of stuff, who are younger dudes, and they watched Lab Rats and they loved it, and they're really cool. They're very nice about it, and we talk about it on occasion, but most of the time they just like the fact that I make jokes and they like the fact that I can sing, and that's just funny. And it's just cool. They're great. But I can, you know, I add this show to that list because I don't know if somebody comes up to me, if they're going to go, I love your show, and I have to go, I get to go. Which one? Legitimately. You think any of these other motherfuckers can come up and can go, which one? You think TYT's ever confused about anybody who talks to them about their shit? It's a one-stop shop. There is no other situation. There is no after TYT. There is no, the job is done, let's move along, let's go back to making real entertainment. Right? And it certainly isn't straight news. Right? Certainly not like, oh, this is a funny story that happened in the news today. That's not going to cut it. People can get that shit anywhere. Fuck, that's what stand-ups do a lot. Stand-ups, the run-of-the-mill stand-up is basically like, did you see that crazy thing that happened today? You don't need a fucking, you know, big studio or any of that kind of like fucking TYT shit to do that. TYT it's a chaos agent. It's only there to dampen the vote for Democrats. Ask Jimmy Dore about post-TYT. Like, well, it's the same thing, though. It is the exact same gig. He's not doing stand-up. Even his tour, they're like, we're doing stand-up. No, you're not. He does his show in a club. It's it's like a touring podcast. It's the same shit Adam Carolla did. That's it, and that's all it will ever be. There is no situation where they go back to doing anything else. And the worst thing that can happen, this is like when you have like entrenched cause-related organizations that undermine the very cause that they're trying to fix. Because if they ever fixed it, what do you need their organization for? TYT is like the Newsmax of the left. Yeah, well, except for, yeah, I'm curious. Well, it might be a really good parallel. I take it back. I was about to kind of take exception, but I think Newsmax drives down the vote on their side as well by playing all the Donald Trump shit about how much they don't have, you know, like they can't trust elections and it's all rigged and all that kind of stuff. That'll keep them from, you know, that'll drive down the vote. And it did. It has. It has statistically lowered the voter turnout for Republicans. And TYT does the exact same thing. The whole thing is to just even it out so that where we would have a huge lead if TYT wasn't constantly attacking Democrats while playing footsie with the right. By you know when you make fun of the stuff that like I do with Trump or whatever, and you don't dig into the details of it, and you just kind of get into he's a pig and that's that. But then you dive into Democrats and you let perfection be the enemy of the good, and you float what I have called the stroke of the pen fallacy everywhere. You can just do it. You could just do it. Why? He could just do it. Okay, if you believe he could just do it, that means there's only two reasons why he's not doing it. One, he's stupid, and he doesn't know because somebody smart like you hasn't told him that he can just, with the stroke of a pen, he can fix this problem, right? Which is bullshit and arrogant. And the other one is, the only reason he's not doing it with the stroke of the pen is because he doesn't want to. He's actually worse than the people that's on the other side. Right? He's worse. Because you know the Republicans are against you, but he could fix this, but he doesn't want to because he wants people to die and starve. I mean, that is their argument about Joe Biden. Fuck, yesterday, I don't know, maybe it was the day before yesterday. Anna and Cenk played a video that Hamas that was like that Hamas shot and gave to ITV or somebody like that of a fucking fake shooting. Like this guy waving a white flag with some guys, and then you hear some cracks of gunfire, and then they fall down. This guy, only the guy, by the way, who's carrying the white flag. The rest of the guys aren't shot. I don't know what the fuck that is. He gets shot, and they put the flag over his chest, the white flag, so you see blood on it or whatever. And the dude fucking pours fucking fake blood on the goddamn flag. You can see him do it. There's a cut between the guy, the shooting noise, and the guy falling down, and them moving him away. There's a literal cut in the video. It's fake. It's fucking fake. And then TYT puts it on, and then they put a blur box over the center of the screen to hide the fact that there's a cut there, to hide the fact that it's fake. And then they go after the IDF did this. The IDF is just shooting people. The IDF, and this is just true. Put all the other shit aside about whether or not they're doing too much or too little or any of that stuff. It doesn't matter. We're talking about this one isolated incident, and we're talking about how they handled it. It's a fucking lie. It's fake. The video is obviously, clearly fake. There are no IDF fighters anywhere. There are no IDF snipers fucking anywhere. The gunfire and the fucking burning tires you see in the background are all for fucking show. It's fake. That shot is fake. And yesterday they ran it like this is what the IDF is doing. Karen says, I saw that. I thought it was true. It is not. Watch if, and I don't, it's obvious it's not a guy getting shot. So you're not watching someone actually get killed. Watch the video because they drag the guy around the corner and you never see him again. But there's a cut between when he falls and they put the flag on him and the guy and the two different shots. It's absolutely fucking fake. It's fake. Right, I agree. If there's no need to fake. If there's no need to fake it if it's real. Yes, NBC showed it as well. They got it off of ITV. It's fake. And again, you can argue about all the other parts of it. The problem is, if you argue that the IDF is doing too much and they're doing all this stuff, and you just breeze by when Hamas fakes a video like this and passes it out, edited to show, and it's clearly fucking fake, what does that do to your argument later? What does that do to your argument the next time Hamas bombs a fucking civilian area and is firing rockets from a hospital, and you're the person who fell for the fake video, so why the fuck am I listening to you anymore? It's got to matter. And it doesn't mean you don't care if you just wait. Did NBC not fact check it? No, they did not. It's come out afterwards and all these sites are just kind of backing away from it. I think ITV might have even, the Australian side of it posted something about we couldn't verify, but ultimately it's fake. Maybe the other ones aren't. Maybe the other stuff isn't. It's not the point. This one definitely is. And if that's your weapon against one side or the other, you're part of the problem. It matters. In the past, folks, we have, I've fallen for it. I've seen videos in the past that were supposedly, allegedly of police violence or something like that. And I was like, this is horrible. And I responded to it back in the day. And then later on, it comes out that that's not exactly what happened. And it was cut and you didn't see the 20 minutes leading up to it and the police rendering aid afterwards, whatever. That was all sliced down to the absolute moment to try and drive your emotions up in an algorithm as high as fucking possible without giving you any of the truth about the circumstance, to try to weaponize your empathy. Weaponize the good parts of your character against the very cause that you care about, by either making you so emotionally exhausted you can't deal with it anymore, or you're just horrified, or you just lose all hope for humanity, and that eventually that's a great way to mute voter turnout and caring, where you're kind of like tacitly, like, you hear the genocide Joe shit and you're like, I don't know, maybe that's what that's for. It matters. That's a lie. That video's fake. They lied about it. That matters. And a good portion of viewership in those situations who may not see when you go backwards and say, oh, you know what, we made a mistake, that turned out to be wrong or whatever. It's important to do retractions. But I believe the retraction should come from as much an emotional space as the first fucking mistake. And you're never going to see them come out and go, that was terrible of me to vilify IDF soldiers I never even saw in this fake fucking video and just attribute this fake bullshit to people I never saw. Human beings who I may disagree with the mission that they're on or how they're carrying it out at certain points, but that's immaterial. They weren't even fucking there. And that's on me. And that's because I allowed my empathy to be weaponized against other people. It matters. I love you guys. Sorry, I'm all riled up. I got to get in the car. I got to go get my car. It's in the shop. Venmo. It's going to be fine. It just needs a little bit of everything. Anyways, appreciate you guys. Please share the show out. I think today was a pretty good show. As the, what are the Hoskin brothers? What are the two brothers? The blue-eyed black dudes with the beards? Hopkins, Hoskins, what the fuck are those guys' names or whatever? Damn good show. They became the conservative twins. It's really weird. They used to just have, I like their old show. They could go back to that shit pre-Trump, but now, they're making too much money being the conservative twins. Yeah. Damn good show. Oh, that's their thing. Whatever. I thank them for teaching me that you don't actually have to mix creatine into a drink. You can just take a scoop of it because it's flavorless and then just take a sip of whatever you're drinking and it'll kind of go right down and then you're not wasting any of it. I think the one gift that the conservative twins gave me, and the rest of what they're doing is a bunch of hilarious bullshit. So, anyways, much love. Talk to you guys later. Patreon.com/HalSparks. I'll post the show from tonight as fast as I possibly can. Love you. Tonight is our first Friday Eye show. So I've not fully decided. I'm a bit of a fly by the seat of my pants person when it comes to artistry. I believe in a lot of practice and then impulse. It's just my thing. So I may ask ChatGPT when I'm on stage for a list of topics that I can talk about on the show, so I have no prep whatsoever, and let AI determine what I'm going to talk about. And that's not how I talk about it. I think that's just a little bit like it's a theory. I'm working on it. All right. And again, I want to finish the show by saying love to Kenneth Otto and his family, and he a regular in our chat room who passed away. From, as I understand, thank you, Andrea, complications from cancer, #fuck cancer. And everybody who's been through that pain knows it very well. I love you. Take care of yourself. Oh, the Hodge twins. That's what it was. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. All right.